Every single person who goes through something difficult in their life truly knows what it means to offer someone a helping hand, to generously give someone a piece of bread, or to give young children some sweet candy. They know this and they do it. I always tell them that you are young and you will be the ones to build the country, to shape our spirituality, our worldview and our traditions. And I am truly proud of you for being the wonderful person you are right now. A woman was walking directly toward me, came right up to me and then asked, "What exactly is wrong with you?" Then I told her about the situation. She said, "Come with me." And I went with her. It turned out that it was a radio station, Ukrainian radio, and that the woman was the famous announcer Olena Kovalenko.
Hello, I'm Nick Lisiski, and this is Archetype of the Nation, a cultural project that explores the foundations of Ukrainian national identity. Who we were, who we have become, who we should and can be. We seek the answer in folklore, as well as in conversations with outstanding representatives of our nation. Today our guest is Raisa Zakletska, head of the Zerniatko ensemble and director of the Vitriani Hory House of Creativity. Good afternoon, Ms. Raisa.
Good afternoon.
Each episode of our project is dedicated to one of the values characteristic of the Ukrainian nation, one of the elements of our identity. And I would like to invite you to talk about such a value as mutual assistance. As we prepare for each episode, we research how this value, in this case mutual assistance, is represented in Ukrainian folklore, and we draw certain conclusions from this. And now I will read to you what thoughts we have formulated regarding mutual assistance in Ukrainian folklore and in Ukrainian tradition. Mutual assistance in Ukrainian cultural tradition is a deeply rooted moral principle, a way of living together, and the foundation of social interaction within the community. It is manifested in rituals, folk poetry and prose through themes of caring for loved ones, supporting the weaker, helping neighbors, and showing hospitality to strangers. Ms. Raisa, what does mutual assistance mean to you?
For me, mutual assistance is, you could truly and indeed say, a very huge and significant essential part of daily life that you are constantly immersed in. Because without mutual assistance, I truly believe that humanity would not have survived. And it is truly and deeply embedded, as you have so eloquently said, in our traditions and in our long history. And it is indeed present in all significant aspects of our everyday life. Because our ancient ancestors, since the very early Neolithic era, and perhaps even much earlier, if you remember those fascinating studies about Tripilia, you'll recall they lived in towns where the houses were meticulously built in a circular arrangement, so to speak. And directly behind these houses were their fertile gardens, where they would diligently sow and plant. This distinctive circle is quite symbolic, clearly showing that they were all together. They are all together. Someone is looking after the children, someone else has. In short, everyone has their own distinct role in this community from thousands of years ago. And I truly think this is deeply ingrained in us mentally, this profound sense of community. When we first meet, when we comfortably sit down at the table now, when we genuinely do something together, when young children eagerly come to help their loving parents dig up potatoes or perform some other essential task, it's already a fundamental and cherished part of who we are. And that's why it's quite a significant layer of mutual assistance.
In your childhood, did children learn to actively help adults, or did adults teach them how to help, or was it somehow organically woven into their daily life?
In childhood, it was truly organic because we always lived in such a close-knit community. The family members consistently helped adults with various household chores, such as cleaning the entire house, washing the floors thoroughly, and so on, pulling out weeds, carefully digging up potatoes and gently herding the cow. Or, for example, feeding the chickens, because when I went out to feed the chickens, scattering the feed, there was this rooster that always chased after me. He was really beautiful. When he ran after me, I would run away from that rooster, and the chickens would chase after me too, because I was carrying grain for them. No one could tell whether it was the chickens chasing me or the rooster chasing me. But the chickens were great. They ran after me and didn't let the rooster peck me.
The chickens also helped and protected. And do you remember any examples, actual examples of toloka? There's a very well-known phenomenon in our cherished tradition, in our rich folklore called toloka, when everyone would gather together and actively help someone get some important work done. Did this happen during your own childhood? Do you remember such vivid examples?
Yes, our good neighbors always did that. For example, if neighbors truly live in harmony, as was always the established rule, then they would readily help each other, actively harvesting the golden rye together, carefully stacking it into neat sheaves. I was still very little, but I remember how people would harvest, stack the sheaves, and even I would try to twist something myself. They showed me how to do it, and they did it together because it was hard to do alone. People always helped each other. And also, in my early childhood, I distinctly remember our kind neighbor would often come over to our house and tell us fascinating fairy tales or some truly scary stories that would give us chills. He would come, tell his stories, and we would all be scared. But he'd say, kids, learn, so you'll know how to behave or not behave. And it was through these examples, through those stories, that we would all gather together. He would come every evening, and he would tell us such wonderful tales or captivating stories, or perhaps he made them up himself. Who truly knows?
This is a truly great example of how, in the past, every single village had a dedicated storyteller who knew a vast array of captivating tales, and there was absolutely no YouTube, no Google, and this is precisely how young children were taught valuable folk wisdom and essential life experience directly through these engaging stories. Probably in everyone's life, those of us who were truly lucky have had situations when we desperately needed help, and as if by miracle, someone genuinely appeared nearby and graciously offered that much-needed help. Have you ever had such situations in your life?
Yes, indeed. There have been many such situations when you just stand there not knowing what to simply do, and then you cry. For example, I had such a situation when I came after school to Kiev to apply to the prestigious Theatre Institute, to Mykola Mashchenko's renowned acting faculty. And then at the crucial interview and the demanding exams, I sang the beautiful song Stepom, Stepom. Well, I prepared everything that was needed for admission to the theater school. And I practically passed the entire comprehensive exam process. And there was a rather significant situation. I'm not going to tell you what exactly happened now, but Mykola Mashchenko then said, calling me child, he said, "You see, child, you're truly wonderful. Please come to me next year. I will definitely accept you into my program." And when I sang Stepe, Stepe back then, he would often take me around the classrooms and say, "Look at this very little child who is applying to us." Because I was so quite skinny, and here I was singing such a song with that kind of truly unique voice. And I walked out onto Kreshchatyk from the Theatre Institute, which was located on Kreshchatyk. And I was walking, and I don't know what was on my face. Tears were truly and quite gently streaming down my face. And as I was slowly approaching the Kreshchatyk metro station, I looked up and saw a woman walking straight toward me, and she immediately asked, "What's really wrong with you?" And I told her about the situation. She said, "Come with me." I went with her, and it turned out that it was the radio, Ukrainian radio, and that the woman was the famous announcer Olena Kovalenko. She said, "Well, sing, what were you singing there?" So I sang Stepom, and there were other announcers there as well. Announcers like Boyko and some other announcers who were there said, "Child, you absolutely need to join the prestigious Viryovka choir." And so, thanks to these influential people, I later submitted my necessary documents, was successfully accepted into the renowned Veryovka choir studio. There were rigorous entrance exams. I diligently passed them, studied extensively in the Veryovka choir, and then was thoroughly evaluated. After graduation, Avdiivsky was the one who decided who would be selected for the Veryovka choir. There was a huge competition, and I was accepted into the Veryovka choir. But in fact, this remarkable person, Mrs. Olena Kovalenko, who truly seemed to appear quite suddenly and unexpectedly out of absolutely nowhere, she even profoundly and irrevocably changed the entire course of how I perceived and understood life itself. Maybe she even changed the course of my whole life or my fate.
And did this become an example for you of how one should help others? Did it inspire you in the future to help others?
Yes, it truly inspired me. Well, and in the future, as much as I possibly could, to whomever, as much as... Actually, even before that, I used to genuinely help people. It's not that this... I don't know, maybe that's just my nature. So whenever I genuinely helped people, honestly, I just got a profound sense of satisfaction from it. I truly wanted the person to feel completely that they weren't alone, that someone was indeed helping them, offering genuine support. Or, for example, we were sewing dresses, and my friend didn't like that she only had a piece of fabric, while mine fit perfectly. I gave her a whole piece of fabric and took a smaller one for myself so she wouldn't get upset. But then I made it in such a way that she said, "Oh, your dress turned out so beautiful." And that was it. I added some things to it, and I always wanted people to feel good.
Has it ever truly happened that you genuinely helped someone, and not only did they not even remember your significant help, but later they even completely refused to help you, for example? In other words, were ungrateful?
You know, honestly, when I genuinely offer my help and assistance to others, I truly do not expect any form of gratitude or for someone to explicitly thank me for my efforts. I helped, and that is certainly good enough. Right now, I truly can't even recall such a specific instance. I think perhaps maybe it did indeed happen, and there were such cases, but they just passed me by. And I didn't pay attention to it.
This kind of question comes up. There are people for whom mutual assistance can sometimes evolve into something akin to a profound dependency, primarily because individuals consistently require some form of external help or support. I am certainly not referring to people with genuine physical or mental disabilities at this particular moment, but rather focusing on a deep-seated psychological need for constant, unwavering help and assistance from another person. And the crucial question that arises is, can this continuous provision of help to someone actually cause more significant and lasting harm to that individual than it genuinely helps them in the long run? If you are always constantly helping someone, and that person still keeps asking for and needing help?
I think so. Because if a person later truly realizes that they haven't genuinely achieved something significant entirely on their own, it will undoubtedly be quite difficult and challenging for them to cope with that realization. Because when you help, I've had some particular cases where I have actually told a person, you know, you really, truly need to change yourself in the sense that you should truly look at the world and genuinely ask, what exactly do I want? Not just solely focus on the fact that I'm crying or that others aren't actively helping children or other such situations, but you really need to change your perspective and gather yourself. A certain courage, I would say the courage to be different. Help will always be there, even when a person, let's say, changes themselves or has a different perspective on certain life situations. And then it would turn out that, well, in fact, when the person genuinely and truly changed, they would say, well, I'm happy. And the help remained. People always genuinely help each other consistently and without hesitation. She was helped. She also helped herself significantly. It's very important to truly help yourself. Because even now, I always tell the children, when they're learning something new, how can you effectively teach a person if they genuinely don't want to learn at all? If they don't want to help themselves to learn it or to do something? You can have the very best, excellent teachers, the most supportive parents, the finest instructors, and the best possible circumstances. But if a person doesn't truly want it, unfortunately, it's impossible to help them.
Yes, and you probably taught and are still teaching your daughters and granddaughters this language as well. Or do you inspire them more by your own example?
I truly think that setting a personal example is profoundly important indeed. But it was also my upbringing, so to speak, and this upbringing is essentially the fabric of everyday life. When you come to the children, you can cook for them, or perhaps sing sweet lullabies in the evening, or even read wonderful poems. For example, my own children knew all of Lina Kostenko's delightful children's poems by heart, because I would often read them aloud, sometimes the very same poem or the same comforting lullaby for 3 whole days in a row, then another one, and then yet another. My children and my Anya would later ask me, "Mom, how do I know these songs?" And it's because that's how it was. I just knew that you have to raise your children with the help of traditions, because then everything will just fall into place. Because we simply can't run away from this. We can't run away at all. Those who try to run away from it often end up facing some significant obstacles. They stumble because it's quite unnatural. But what is truly natural, like, let's say naturally, a tree grows in the spring, it blossoms, it bears its fruit, and in the winter it quietly quiets down. And just imagine for a second that it starts to bloom in winter, and in spring, on the contrary, then it simply dies, or let's say becomes very weak. It's the same way. And in human nature.
Actually, as I've already mentioned, in this comprehensive program, we carefully analyze folklore, diligently studying each inherent value, thoroughly analyzing and deeply exploring precisely how this or that particular value is clearly reflected in our long-standing traditions. And when it comes to the fundamental concept of mutual assistance, we consistently see that it has always been an exceptionally important and integral part of life. In all periods, and this is actually reflected in songs, fairy tales, and proverbs. If we carefully compare, for example, a relatively recent period of time and the present day, meaning the times of your own childhood and today, do you truly think people genuinely help each other less often now, or, on the contrary, more often?
If we take the present moment, our current day and age, then people have actually started helping each other more and more truly. Because a truly stressful situation has arisen. In these stressful situations, I'm not a professional psychologist, but that's what I personally think and deeply feel, both from extensively talking to many other people and from my own personal experience, that sometimes you genuinely put in even more effort, more of your valuable time to actively help others. And likewise, many people now, immediately after their demanding workdays conclude, dedicate their valuable time to actively helping others, diligently lifting up those in need, generously feeding individuals who are hungry, or simply striving to bring a significant amount of joy and happiness into the lives of others. For example, my daughter Ivana, she used to bake pies, and she still does, and she sends these homemade treats, so that people, the guys, could enjoy this homemade baking, because I come into her kitchen and say, "Ivana, let me try some." She says, "Mom, I'll give you some later. This batch is for the guys." And that's how it is. She has 3 kids, lots of work, so much to do, but she still gets up and, let's say, works late into the night, all of her own free will.
In fact, ever since 2014 for us, volunteering has truly become a part of our lives. In your considered opinion, is this significant phenomenon of volunteering in Ukraine a direct continuation of the long-standing old traditions of mutual assistance? Or is it truly a new and emerging phenomenon brought about by the pressing modern needs of the present time?
It's not a new phenomenon. As I have told you, without mutual assistance, people would not have survived at all. I am repeating myself here. But I want to say that it's not really a new phenomenon. The only thing is that now it is perhaps much more vividly expressed. Maybe at this time it is more targeted, because now everyone in Ukraine understands what the war truly is, and if we help each other, we will reach the victory faster. And perhaps even faster, or even if not achieving a quicker pace, at the very least, people will undoubtedly have substantial support, profound inspiration to courageously defend their beliefs and to bravely fight for what is right. Because these are also very important things. When people are truly inspired, when they don't give up, don't fall into despair, but instead think, these people are helping, those people are also helping, so we truly believe, so we're on the right path. And this is an old tradition. Even what I have told you, starting perhaps even much earlier from the ancient Trypilia culture and up to our present times.
Let me remind you that today in the studio of the Archetype of the Nation project, we are talking about mutual assistance with Raisa Zakletska. Regarding the crucial aspect of assistance and your primary educational activity at Zerniatko, do you actively teach the children under your care that it is profoundly important to consistently help and support one another in their daily interactions?
Yes, that's something we truly instill in them. For example, when we go to the beautiful Carpathian Mountains for our family vacation, as we always used to do, we have our younger children, our older children, and all the boys going with us. And for example, we always say that each younger girl is carefully paired with an older girl, much like a mother figure. And she looks after her, checks if her hair is braided, how she truly looks, and whether she attends any significant events there. And then, on one memorable occasion, I organized a special day called Father's Day. And I said, boys, tomorrow will be Father's Day. And you will take these younger girls and genuinely help them, providing guidance and support. For example, check if the girl has gotten up, if her hair is braided, if her hair isn't braided, then you need to braid it. Or let's say, for example, you should take her to some locations where some games are happening, play with her, spend time playing ball or other games. Well, I was surprised by the result. The outcome was simply quite amazing. I watched closely when the young boys would come in. Of course, they did it very delicately, always knocking first, and absolutely everything was discussed thoroughly in advance. And the boys took care of the girls, checking at lunchtime. I would watch to see if they were making sure the child had eaten, if their hair was brushed, and the boys learned how to braid hair. And then in the evening, when we gathered together, they said, listen, this is so cool, now we'll know what it's like to be a dad.
During the entire tour, were there any specific examples of mutual help and cooperation among the children that truly stood out to you the most?
We always have mutual help here, because we have sometimes such situations. For example, when we were giving a concert in Japan and we didn't have that many children, but we had to perform for an hour and change costumes, let's say, between the acts. So whoever is busy is performing, and whoever isn't quickly helps get things ready, so that as soon as they came out dressed, the kids would change costumes in just one act. What does in one act mean? That's 3 minutes. In 3 minutes they would change with the help of the other kids. and they always helped each other with everything. If a younger child needs something brought to them, or if a child is feeling sad, everyone comes over, hugs them and says, "We're here for you, we're your friends." That's always how it is with us. It's even, we don't even make a special point of it.
Is it true that the children of the Zerniatko ensemble raised 1 million hryvnias while on tour in Germany?
I think they actually raised even more. They successfully raised more than 1 million. In fact, it was very close to 2 million Ukrainian hryvnias, because when Kyiv was more or less free and the children were supposed to go to Germany, we got ready literally indeed in a very, very short time, because I've got a call from Alla Kinzera, a truly wonderful person from the community of Ukrainians with the Ukrainians from the diaspora in other countries. And she said there was an opportunity to go and raise funds for generators and other things, because at that time there was no electricity. And when I told the children, I said, well, you can go on a vacation, or you can go do something else, whatever you have planned for your free time, or we can go and help people who are really struggling because of the war. And they said, we'll go help. So we got ready, and even one girl said we were supposed to leave tomorrow, for example, to grandma's for her birthday, but she calls her mom and says, "Mom, I'm leaving for Germany tomorrow. I'm volunteering with concerts with Zerniatko to help raise much needed money for generators and other essential things." And she says, "What do you mean? We were planning to go." She says, "No, that's what I've decided. These are our children and I'm very proud of them." And when we went there, we actually had no less than 3 or even 4 concerts each day, really. Everything was organized in a such incredibly uplifting way, because everyone wanted to truly help both the Germans and the Ukrainians who were living there. So we carefully collected these funds. Well, how exactly did we manage to collect them? People diligently transferred money, and there were also numerous checks received. And then, with these collected funds, we promptly purchased several vital generators, multiple ambulances, and even a robust SUV. There were a lot of things that we purchased during that time. And for example, we drove the SUV and the ambulance ourselves, and we sent the generators, hygiene products, and many, many other essential and valuable things like that. And when we finally arrived at our destination, I sincerely thanked the parents for their incredible dedication in raising their wonderful children, because these young individuals are truly and unequivocally our future. And I always tell them that you are young, and you will be the ones to build the country. You will shape what we have, our spirituality, our worldview, our traditions. And I am truly proud of you, of who you are right now at this very moment.
The archetype of the nation is created with the support of the Ukrainian Cultural Foundation and is available in various formats. So choose the one you like, listen, watch, read our episodes, and also share your thoughts in the comments, because in this project, every opinion matters. And of course, subscribe to our channels and pages so you don't miss anything interesting. All the links are in the description for this episode. As I understand it, and as I see it, the activity of the Zerniatko ensemble is a vivid example of what mutual assistance is and how it should work. And how did the idea to create the Zerniatko ensemble come about? And why is it called Zerniatko?
That was also mutual assistance, I'll tell you. Because when I was touring abroad with the Veriovka choir, I saw, that our people are received very enthusiastically by the audience in different countries. They really elevate and popularize our culture, our traditional songs, our Ukrainian music. And before that, we used to have this impression, well, maybe many people did, that everything abroad is something extraordinary, but here at home it's not. But actually, that's not true. Things are nice abroad, but things are good here too. And when, for example, I come back from France, from abroad, and I want to, Avdiivsky says, well, now we have a break, and then we're going to rehearse at the Palace Ukraine, and we run, for example, to the Dnipro Hotel to have lunch. They tell us, no, only foreigners have lunch here. I think, well, how come? What do you mean only foreigners? So I remembered some French. I started reciting a French song, and they go, oh, are you a foreigner? And they said, well, then you can certainly come in. But in general, you never really see that kind of attitude, as if our own people are somehow quite different. Why is it always for foreigners? Why not for our very own? And I remember wanting to, these weren't just isolated incidents. Wherever you go, you simply can't get in because everything is exclusively for them, for them, for them. And I wanted it to be so our own children will see what the foreign children from other countries are like, what life abroad really truly is like, to see what we represent, our spirituality, our beauty, our mutual support. I truly thought that I absolutely needed to create this incredible opportunity and take my children abroad as much as humanly possible so that they could genuinely see and fully realize that they are indeed rich, that they truly possess immense and invaluable wealth. And that was my, as you say, mutual support, actively helping them to truly discover themselves, clearly showing that we are indeed a significant cultural force. We are a cultured people with a very long and rich history, with ancient and enduring traditions, and with traditions of mutual support, because Ukrainians have always been like that and still truly are. For example, if we had something special at home, some fish or maybe some honey, my parents would always say, when guests come, we will treat them to the very best. And it wasn't just like that in my family, it was the same for many people. If you went to visit, people would always offer you the best they had. Or, for example, if you were walking along and it started to rain, some kind lady would rush right over and throw something protective over you so you wouldn't get wet. Or once I fell down. I had just been bought a beautiful light-colored coat, and I was running and fell into the mud, right into a puddle, and it got all dirty. And I was afraid that maybe my parents would scold me. The neighbor came, "It's okay, I'll clean it for you now. It'll be as good as new. Don't worry, everything will be fine now." That's precisely why mutual help has always existed and indeed still does. And it's what practically and truly keeps us on this spiritual high. 55th anniversary, a significant milestone. Children eagerly come to us with immense joy and enthusiasm. They passionately sing, gracefully dance, and diligently practice and refine their performing skills. And as our dear graduates who visited me not a long time ago said, they've told me, we didn't just learn only to sing, dance and act from you. We learned also how to communicate in an effective manner. We learned how to live harmoniously with other people and how to truly be in the world. We learned a great deal from you. And I am proud that the children realized this, and that they have it, and that they are learning. And our kids have been participating in the Zerniatko ensemble since the age of 3. We invite you to join our Zerniatko ensemble. Children, girls and boys from the age of 3 are welcome at the Vitriani Hory House of Creativity in the Podilsky district of Kyiv. We will be happy to teach you what we know. The children of the Zerniatko ensemble have visited many countries around the world. That's Europe, America, Canada, Japan, and Singapore. Indeed, it's much easier to simply name the few countries they haven't had the opportunity to visit. And these wonderful children are truly exceptional diplomats. They are the proud bearers of the rich and vibrant culture who clearly show what Ukraine is and what our unique culture is truly like. What are our traditions? Because it is solely through the rich and diverse tapestry of culture that you can truly learn what a people are genuinely like, deeply get to know them better, attentively listen to their captivating melodies, their heartfelt songs, their expressive words, and fully realize the immense richness that this particular nation profoundly possesses. And then, through these shared experiences, you can truly show your friendship. There was a notable case that occurred in Japan, specifically in the year 2022, involving a significant football championship. This event actually took place and concluded after our arrival in the country. The Japanese children were specifically told, please write down which country you will personally support if this championship event takes place. They wrote to me that in 6 districts of Tokyo, in the schools where we had been, all the children voted for Ukraine. And it truly moved me to tears, because the dedicated teachers wrote to me and said that the young children liked you so very much. These are indeed very large schools, with a great number of children attending, and they all enthusiastically voted for Ukraine.
You often perform traditional folk songs, which are typically sung in communal groups, such as festive carols, lively shkedrivkas, and various other traditional songs. Can we truly say that the choir is, in actual fact, also a perfect example or a clear image of mutual assistance and harmonious coexistence within a close-knit group?
Yes, you are absolutely right. It's not just about mere coexistence. It's much more profound, because when individual voices truly merge and blend into one harmonious entity, it genuinely creates, I don't know, perhaps some diligent scientists have extensively studied this phenomenon. It creates a powerful and significant effect of unique vibrations. And these powerful vibrations truly fill everyone who is present there, whether it's the attentive listeners or those devoted individuals who are singing. That's why choral singing has always been a very important part of human culture. Families sang together, and people sang when they gathered together for various occasions. And this is very important. These vibrations are important. They filled people so much that they felt good. They were truly happy, joyful, and raised their children with great care. They thought that in these songs, in the melodies, that's why a choir is much more than just a community.
Well, actually, it's also profoundly about a certain kind of harmonious coexistence and learning to effectively interact within a social group.
Well, when it truly comes to being in a group, yes, it's really about meaningful interaction and continuous learning, because nowadays, you know, there's this word degradation. Unfortunately, it quite exists. And what I simply mean is children sing very little, sing together even less frequently. They mostly just listen, they mostly just watch. They're more like passive consumers, more like mere observers. And many young children come who simply can't reproduce a sound. People often say they don't have an ear for music. Well, they do indeed have an ear, but they just can't reproduce the right notes, the correct sound at all. And this is a big problem. Degradation is indeed advancing quite rapidly, primarily because what we do not actively use, we inevitably lose. And consequently, when children come to us for guidance, we carefully tune them. We then come up with effective methods for how to fully develop or gently bring out from deep inside what they already inherently possess. And when they truly start singing in the choir or even singing a solo performance, they truly become incredibly happy. Because when a person genuinely knows something or is perhaps afraid or simply can't do something, and then they ultimately succeed, they become profoundly happy. And this mutual support and genuine assistance between dedicated teachers and eager children is so important. You know, there's absolutely no such thing as a child singing something incorrectly and everyone laughing at them. Beforehand, we say that everyone has their own special talents, everyone can develop them. And if someone can't do something right now, they'll be able to do it after some time. And that's always how it happens. And you know, it really gives you a great deal of self-confidence. It's very important to be truly confident in yourself, in your inherent abilities, because it practically and profoundly shapes the child's character and their essential communication with the world in the future. With that same mutual support you mentioned, these very important practical things send that kind of message.
Because if you're not confident in yourself, you can't help others.
Well, you can certainly help with some things, but when a person is truly confident in something, they absolutely know, yes, I will definitely do this. Because perhaps the person isn't feeling confident, maybe they're not quite sure. It's quite hard for them, so perhaps I'll help with that. I don't think anyone really thinks about things like, I'll help and it will be better there. It is thought, but I think that first of all it is thought about how can you truly help a person to be absolutely sure and confident that they can indeed do it? Well, primarily because, and a strong character must be carefully formed, it must be deliberately formed. The worldview absolutely must be formed. Many things must be formed so that a person can go out into the world and be able to help themselves. First of all, you need to help yourself. If you help yourself, you'll be able to help other people. You know how to help yourself.
In this ensemble, you are together with your daughters and granddaughters. And can it truly be said that you genuinely bring your deeply held family values into this entire musical ensemble? And what are they, if so?
Family values, they truly shape and mold us deeply within the family unit. And of course, to some extent, we do bring them in, to some extent, because the children who come are all different. Everyone has their own values from their own family. We take that into careful consideration, and for example, if there are common and widely recognized holidays like St. Nicholas Day or the joyous coming of spring, we celebrate them according to our cherished traditions, diligently carrying over the enduring values and rich spiritual heritage of our Ukrainian people. Because family values, yes, they are indeed very important, but everyone has their own unique perspective.
It's time for the traditional game with our guest called the Folklore Chest. You are a happy mother and a wonderful grandmother, so you have probably read Ukrainian folktales many times and know them almost entirely by heart. And today, our exciting task, our engaging game, is actually connected to these very Ukrainian folk tales. We have 10 distinct characters from various Ukrainian folk tales, specifically 2 characters from each individual tale, and these characters consistently helped each other. Your task, in this instance, is probably quite simple. You need to carefully pair up the characters that truly belong to the very same tale, then name the specific tale, and finally say precisely who helped whom.
Can I start picking them already? Yes, the cat and the rooster.
Yes.
This is...
Which tale is it?
The cat and the rooster.
Cat and the rooster? Who helped whom?
The cat truly helped the rooster. Is that correct? Or do you not know?
We won't just say, we'll ask our people to please write in the comments.
Yes, now Ivasik Telesik. Yes, Ivasik Telesik. And what is more, he is also going to be doing something else. And in addition to that, he will be involved in further activities and...
Geese, that's right.
Geese. I truly thought there was a fox. I really did think of something. Yes, indeed, geese.
This is a fairy tale about Ivasik Telesik. So who helped who?
Well, the geese with their strong wings helped him move. Ivasik Telesik, the brave young hero, yes, Ivasik Telesik. Kirilo Kozhumyaka, the legendary figure, yes. Kirilo Kozhumyaka, the mighty and courageous hero, yes, Kirilo Kozhumyaka. Two more fairy tales, okay. Oh, yes, Koti Horoshko. Oh, and the eagle, I think.
Yes, that's right. There are also longer and shorter versions of the fairy tale. Yes?
When, well, you know, yes, it's Koti Horoshko and the mighty eagle. And you,
Dear viewers, do you know? Write to us too. Do you know how the eagle helped Koti Horoshko? Or maybe Koti Horoshko helped the eagle?
yes, well, and now the bunny and the crayfish.
What fairy tale is this from?
Bunny and crayfish. The crayfish is, I forgot what the fairy tale is called. In my opinion, it is called like that, Bunny and Crayfish.
It's Koza de Reza. This is a bit of an unusual question.
Non-standard? Oh, Koza de Reza, that's right.
Do you remember what happened between them?
Yes, of course. I am the Koza de Reza. Half of my side is thoroughly beaten, bought for just 3 kopecks. Stomp, stomp with my feet, and so on and so forth.
She came and took the bunny's house. If it weren't for the noble crayfish, the bunny wouldn't have a house.
Yes, yes.
To wrap up, a blitz interview. 7 short questions, 7 short or not so short answers. What trait do you value most in people?
I don't have just one trait. It's humanity. Humanity is truly the most important trait, but it's also indeed kindness and also loyalty and, of course, great courage.
And what trait do you consider the worst?
I think it's indifference.
What inspires you?
People, they inspire me.
And what scares you?
People, they also scare me.
What helped you hold on during the difficult moments in your life?
Faith.
What is the main goal or mission of your life?
The overarching mission of my life, or my primary and most significant goal, is this. It might indeed sound very grandiose, but to truly make this world a little better place, to significantly improve it, so that we can all live in a truly safe and secure world, a world where we deeply value our cherished traditions, our beautiful Ukrainian language, our rich history, and consistently help each other in this world.
If you had to choose just 3 words that truly characterize the people of Ukraine, what would those words be?
They are divine people.
Thank you. And now, the artifact segment, where we ask our guests to leave something as a memento of themselves. And today, I actually truly don't know what wonderful things you've brought us. So please kindly show us and tell us what precious item you will leave as a lasting memento for the nation's archetype. So,
I'll show you now, but let me tell you a little bit first. This is an important artifact that we have proudly gifted in Japan, in Canada, in Singapore, and in many other significant cities around the world. I would very much like this precious artifact to travel all over this vast land because it is truly very important. Let me show you this now. Here, please just take a look.
how beautiful it is.
Yes, this is actually a faithful copy of a detailed drawing by Vitriani Hory, who meticulously excavated and discovered our, the ancient Trypillian culture. It was originally a distinctive clay pot, and he skillfully depicted it in such a unique way, as if the entire pot were carefully unwrapped. And this is his actual original drawing, but of course for practical reasons we carefully made a copy and then thoughtfully placed it onto a beautiful scarf. It has indeed a truly very important deep meaning, because all of the symbols on this pot can harmonize that person who wears it. Allegedly, it can make them successful, make them healthy. It can even heal them. This is what specialists told me. I didn't research this myself. And we decided that we could indeed give this special scarf to people whom we truly like and to whom we sincerely wish great success and excellent good health. So today, I am giving you this beautiful scarf from all of us, from the wonderful Zerniatko ensemble.
Thank you so very much for such a truly wonderful and thoughtful gift. And our valued viewers and dedicated listeners can see this incredible gift in all its intricate details on our comprehensive website, where we've already posted a detailed photo of it. Thank you very, very much for all your hard work, amazing creativity, and consistent activity. Thank you for visiting us today. Thank you for such a wonderful gift, the gift that we received from you. I wish you success.
Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Friends, today in our studio we had the head of the Zerniatko ensemble, the director of the Vitriani Hory House of Creativity, Raisa Zakletska. Write in the comments what interesting things you learned for yourself. Do you believe that mutual assistance is one of the important values inherent to the Ukrainian people? Let me remind you that you can watch episodes of the Archetype of the Nation project on YouTube, listen on your favorite podcast platforms, and read on the website magicworld.com.ua. In particular, there you will find popular science essays prepared by folklorist Marina Demeduk, as well as recordings of folk works performed by well-known actors. Thank you for your attention, and goodbye.